Sonya Rick James. Open like a window, no window. Look at the video, say to yourself, that could have been you.
Because they're like, Sanya on. And everybody on the East Coast calls me Don. I'm like, what is Don?
My mom thought I was on Long Island, but I was at Howard Homecoming. Turn it up.
Let's go.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are now tuned into another amazing edition of Sanya on Air. I'm your host, Sanya Hudson Payne. And how do I start off each and every single show? You guessed it, I have another great show for you. But before I tell you about today's celebrity guest, make sure that you do me a quick favor. The same favor I ask of you every single week. I need you to subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to every Sanya on Air streaming platform. If you're watching on YouTube, not only subscribe, but make sure that you hit the notification button. That way, every time I upload an all-new celebrity interview unpacking their pivotal moments and milestones, guess who'll be the first ones to know? Not Ray Ray, not Tay Tay, but you. You will be the first ones to know. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you leave a comment. Watch these interviews, these conversations, and engage. Leave me a comment. I definitely read the comments, even though I've been warned not to read the comments, but I read the comments and I will definitely reply back. So leave a comment, like, subscribe, share. And if you share my content, just make sure that you also tag me on it. So today's guest is reality star personality, and she's also a fashionista. When I tell you, when you see her clothing on television, award shows, major fashion runway shows, you know the designer's name, Angel Brinks. Now, once again, you've seen her on Basketball Wives, but she has really contributed to hip hop culture. She has dressed some amazing icons. She's dressed Nicki Minaj, Mary J. Blige, Doja Cat, and most recently, Summer Walker had a concert and Angel Brinks dressed her too. She's also dressed Cardi B. So there are so many people wearing her clothing. I'm just curious, the everyday girl, is she also checking for Angel Brinks designs? Because you have to dare to wear. Her clothing is really overly embellished, a lot of sequins, a lot of adornment. Nice designs, but let me tell you, you got to have the body for it. You got to have some body for some Angel Brinks designs. So for a while, Angel Brinks had left Basketball Wives. She was there for seasons 4 and season 5, and then she left the show and she didn't come back until season 10. What happened? We also see her navigating her recent pregnancy and dealing with postpartum anxiety and a new relationship. So I'm glad that she's adding a lot more to her storylines because fans were saying she's boring. That's what they were saying on the street. I didn't say it. That's what they were saying on the streets. The streets, the avenues, and the boulevards. Okay. But I think she's a great addition to Basketball Wives. But we're going to be joined by Angel Brinks in just a few short moments. But we're going to take a quick commercial break. Make sure that you purchase your Sanya on Air merchandise. If you're looking for something fabulous, statement pieces as you walk into a room, make sure that you look into the description section of this episode for my Sanya on Air merchandise. And we'll be right back with Sanya on Air and Angel Brinks. Stay tuned.
This is Sanya on Air. This is Sanya on Air.
It's time to go shopping, and you're just in time for the all-new Sanya on Air Spring Summer Merchandise Collection. I owe that one to Miss Sheree Whitfield. She by Sheree. You know, it's a spring summer collection. Do you work out on the regular? Fuel your cart goals with Instacart, the go-to service for quick delivery straight to your home. Use the special Sanya on Air link below. Hi, Angel.
Hi. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for asking.
Oh, no problem. I think that's a necessary question every single day. We just need to make sure that everybody's okay. So I genuinely mean that question. Are you okay?
Yes, I am. Thank you for asking. I love that. I love
Because sometimes people just ask that question because it's like just something to say. But in this space, people are here today and gone tomorrow. So I think it's so,
Mm,
so important. But on another note, let me tell you why I was looking forward to today.
tell
I
me.
wanted to see what you were wearing for this
Oh,
conversation
oh my goodness. I
because
know.
you always bring it. You always bring it. You always understand the assignment. So thank you for showing up in true Angel Brinks form.
Thank you. That's so funny. I was like, should I just go in my sweats? I'm like, no, I got it. I'm me. I'm
Here
always.
you exactly. At first I started to wear like this heavy embellished shirt true to your aesthetic. And I said, you know what? Let me just be true to myself.
No, just what? Every girl loves a flashy, shiny thing, whether it's
Yes.
jewelry or clothes. And why not put jewelry on clothes?
Oh my gosh. Let me tell you something. So you stepped onto the scene of television, specifically Basketball Wives, during
Mhm.
season 4. Now, I know that you've been asked this question a million times before, but tell me, how did you become a part of the ensemble cast of Basketball Wives?
I, Drea. Drea was on the show, and I believe at that time, this is my opinion, cable, TV was really popping. Reality TV shows was on a rise. It went from
Mhm,
scripted to not scripted, and then now we're back in scripted. But back then, she called me and she said, "Hey, I had just had a baby. I was dating, Tyreek Evans at the time,
mhm,
who was in the league."
mhm,
And she called me. She said, "What do you think about Basketball Wives?" I said, "I love the show." And she's like, "Would you want to, be on it, or would you want to, do a scene with me?" I was like, "Sure." So,
mhm.
she brought me in, and the rest is history.
Wow. Well,
Shout
history we
out
definitely
to Drea. Drea.
made.
You always got to make sure, I show my love and respect because, she didn't have to do that. And granted, I was designing then too, but still to be on a totally different platform,
Yeah.
on TV is a different thing.
I'm glad that you mentioned that as well, because oftentimes we support friends and they get to a place and they forget about the other people. So I'm glad that Drea got to a place where she said, you know what, this fame and this shine isn't just for me. Let me share it with my friends. So I'm glad that she introduced you to the show. But I noticed that you stayed there for seasons 4 and 5, and then all of a sudden you were gone. What was the reason for your departure?
At that time, I came on with Drea and I felt like, things weren't going the way I thought. But come season 5, at this point I was a full cast member. I came in kind of late on season 4. Season 5, I really was able to show who I am. Season 4 was more like, okay, this is Drea's friend. And season 5 for me was more like, okay, this is who I am. This is what I do, and, for me, it was more of, a sisterhood, wanting to get to know other women who are in the basketball world, whether you're married or not. I mean, marriage is one thing for sure. There's no denying that. But to have a child by basketball players, almost kind of, we share similar issues,
Mhm.
and similar stories, and so for me, it was more of, just wanting to get to know the women and all of that. But when it went in a totally different direction, I decided towards the end of the season that it was time for me to take a break, take exit, and kind of do my own thing and focus on my designing.
I'm glad that you mentioned that because we do know Basketball Wives to be full of feuding amongst women. And to know that you wanted to stay true to yourself and remove yourself from that type of environment and focus on your professionalism, it showed when you returned for season 10. So,
Mhm.
what made you decide to return back to Basketball Wives during season 10?
So it was shortly after COVID. It was, I want to say 2021. Right, 2021. I freshly found out I was pregnant. And I got a call from, one of my old producers from back then. And he said, "Angel, how you been? I've been trying to get a hold of you. We want to return back this season with a totally different direction. We want to go into more of the lives of the women, what you guys have going on, your family stories, your business. And we promise this time it's going to be different. And they said, going into it that, they're bringing in, I guess, quote unquote MVPs from first season, or some that were, who I don't know, which obviously we wanted Dre back as well, but that was happening. But they sort of convinced me, and I said, you know what? Okay, if that's what it is, let's get back into it. They fans kind of, I guess, supporters of the show. They want to see, where we're at, what we're doing, and what's been happening in the last years that we were off the show.
Fans did call for the OGs to return, and we really did think that once the OGs like yourself returned, that the dynamics amongst the women would be a little bit different, but it still kind of remained the same, to the point where whenever you did decide to film with the cast, you looked a little bit uncomfortable. What was the reason for that uncomfortability?
Well, so just so you know, we shot 26 episodes. So it was 10A and 10B. Normally we just do 13 episodes and we call it a season, but this year VH1 did different. So they gave us part A and part B. Part A, I was pregnant, and part B, I had just had the baby. So I'm not sure which scenes you're referring to. When did you think I was uncomfortable? Was it when I was pregnant?
No, after you had your son Prince.
Oh, okay. I mean, I wasn't necessarily uncomfortable with a group of women. I really took a liking to the group of women. I was experiencing postpartum depression. And it wasn't something that I was familiar with. I didn't have that with my previous children, but they were just hormones, hormones that I couldn't kick. So, my mind is on my career, what's happening in the office, my children. And then here I am on a show, and we shoot usually 1 to 2 scenes a day, 5 days a week. So I probably was really overwhelmed at that time.
But we love to see it because, like I said, although it's called Basketball Wives and we're used to the conversations, the arguing, we really want to get a glimpse into your real lives. So for you to be so transparent and vulnerable, a fan like me, I've been a fan of the show since day one, season 1, episode 1. It was so refreshing for you to be vulnerable. Was it a tough decision for you to decide to put your postpartum depression for the world to see on television?
Yes, it is. Because it's basically saying, hey, everyone, I have a problem. And sometimes, I don't know for some people, but I don't really, I'm not the type of person that really wants someone to pity me. But I did realize at that time, especially after COVID, it was a major baby boom. And I knew that my story and sharing my story and just being totally transparent about what I'm going through, that there are women out there that I could help. And that's really what it's about. When God gives you a microphone, you use that for the better good, So, I can't be anybody different than me. I am who I am. And that was my story at that time. And that's what I was experiencing. And I thought that, once I, told my story, that, people will relate and understand and say, I'm going through that too. And how did you get out of that? So to watch me from start to finish, I felt like I wanted the world to know women were okay. You can seek help. You can do this, or let's do that. You're going to go through emotions, have a good support group, have a good group of friends and family and help. So I just wanted the world to see that, or the women mainly that are experiencing postpartum.
So what type of help did you offer to yourself? You mentioned, having a good support circle, having family. Did you seek some sort of professional help in the form of a therapist?
On the show, I went to a mom's group, and I did go back a couple times after that. Yeah. Which was great. It's so helpful to be in a room full of women that understand, because you come home, your kids don't understand, or your man or your family, they don't fully understand until you say, hey, I really don't feel well.
Yeah.
And I really am, sad. And everyone's like, no, you're doing a great job. And you, I'm sure you are. And I'm sure I was, sorry.
Okay.
But yeah, so, it just takes a strong group of people around to really, walk you through it, or just know, okay, she's going through one of her moods today. It's gonna be good.
But once again, I'm so glad that you put that on television, because women, we have so many things that we navigate through as women, and we don't even understand it ourselves. My daughter's 28. It wasn't until she was about 25 that I was able to explain to my partner, remember when I was acting funny when she was born? Now I know why. I never understood it then, but I was able to explain it 25 years later. So you're in a relationship with Grammy Award producer RoccStar. How did he help you navigate through postpartum depression?
You know, he's a very fun, lively, funny spirited person. He's always like on the roof, you know. So he cracks jokes, and he's not so much of like a super serious person like I am. So, you know, he was there through every step of the way. He's just by my side, and he just made me laugh, and you know, he just understood. You know, it's something that, you know, I just pushed out a human life, you know, like my body created human life with eyes, nose, ears to hear, like a mouth, like it's a thing,
Yeah.
you know, like we are, as women, are amazing and so powerful,
Yeah.
you know. So for me to have pushed out a baby, his baby, you know, he understood, like, okay, you know, and his mom actually went through that.
Oh.
When she had him. And so,
Mhm.
you know, she was there for me a lot too. And he was just there, and, you know, gave me a lot of foot rubs, you know, rubbed my back. And he just literally said, he's like, what do you want to do? You want to scream? Let's scream. Ah! You know, so I was like, stop, you know. But, you know, along the way, you know, he just bear and grin, you know, he just was there for me. And I got through it. I kicked
You
those
need
home.
that. You
Yeah.
need that. So, you know, I always want my guests to drop gems and teachable moments and just unpack their pivotal moments, because I'm sure that there's someone listening who's going through the exact same thing and they don't know how to cope, how to go through it to get to it. So you've mentioned a lot of gems, and I'm hoping that my audience can take with them. But I'm curious, you have 3 children. If you weren't diagnosed with postpartum depression, would you have included that in your storyline? Because you've never really talked about your other children who are 15 and 9 years old.
I actually have. I actually have talked about them. Season 5, I mentioned my son came on a very powerful scene with me. I don't know if you saw this, if you saw that season. I'm sure you
Remind me.
remember. He basically, you know, my son's father committed suicide when I was married to his dad, and it was a very traumatic experience, and that was a very major part of my story.
Yeah.
So him and I, a lot of people are actually fans of him. You know, they kind of wanted to see like how he went from being 8 on the show to now being, I think, what was he, 13, 14 when we filmed. But yeah, I definitely talked about him. And then I definitely talked about my daughter as well, with her migraines.
Mm.
So, but no, you're right. Absolutely. I wouldn't probably have spoke about postpartum if I didn't experience it, because I didn't experience it with them. But that's
Right.
what I was going through at that time while we were filming.
So did you feel forced to have a very strong storyline? Because the word on the street, you know, people were saying that your storyline was a little bit boring. Did you feel forced to kind of self-produce your own storyline for season 10 of Basketball Wives?
You know, the fans always have something to say. They're
Always.
always talking about how, oh, the girls are so messy. And then they have something to say about every situation. It's like, well, do you want us to be messy or do you want us to be boring? Because I'm lost, you know? And I guess the fans are looking for entertainment. I'm all about story.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about resolutions and how we got here and how to come out of certain things, you know? But if you think about it, season 10, part A, a lot of the stuff was based around my life.
Yeah.
Gender reveal, the girls shaded me on not being married. Then they talked about my relationship, and then my pregnancy was a thing. And then the girls got into it because of what they did to me. And then Malaysia decides to bring a girl to tell me she slept with my,
right,
other people's dad. So I don't see where it was boring. I feel like a lot of things was based around my life.
Yeah, I think unfortunately reality television hardcore fans, they want to see the fisticuffs. A fan like me, you're giving me everything that I need because I'm seeing the different layers of Angel Brinks. So you're giving me everything that I love. But let's just talk about the fashion. You being a fashion designer. So you were a fashion designer before you decided to join Basketball Wives. Was it intentional for you also to join the show to leverage your brand and also make it more visible to potential customers?
I mean, absolutely. You always want to bring awareness to your brand, and whatever it is that you have going on. But also for me, it was more like, okay, yes, I'm dating a basketball player or was dating a basketball player, but he didn't make me. You know what I mean? I know there's like a what is it, a stigma, or everyone's like, oh, okay, well, she's married to the basketball player and she has this because she's married. Like for me, it was just like it's my real story. This is really who I am. I build myself off a dollar and a dream without a man's help, without a basketball player. And so that's really just my story. And that's all I can do is be transparent about it and show people who I am,
Yeah.
and so for me, of course, it definitely helps the brand because that's the point, you want to bring more awareness, more eyeballs to whatever it is that you're selling. I mean, everyone does it,
Yeah.
he has her books and, so-and-so has this and that, we all have, our, things that we're working on the side of outside of the show.
Yeah, but they see you on Basketball Wives. They also see you designing these amazing pieces, but you're also a college graduate. And I think people need to know that as well. So talk about when you thought about becoming a fashion designer to the point of saying, let me execute this thought. How did that happen?
Well, I went to FIDM, which is FIDM. It's the Fashion Institute of Design and Marketing. And I actually grew up in the performing arts. So I was in choir, I was in dance, I was singing, I was taking acting classes, I was doing everything. I just wanted to be in that spotlight at the time, and things took a turn. I ended up getting married. And then that's when I had my son and just everything, just my whole life changed. But, I think that hard work beats talent.
Yeah.
I always want everyone to go to school, of course, but there's a lot of people out there that have hard work and for me, it's just, find the niche, do what you love and really just execute it. When you're really good at something, make something out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So making something out of nothing. Did you originally start creating these heavily embellished pieces, or was your aesthetic a little bit different and just grew into this big thing that we have today?
Well, funny enough, so I started with just leggings. At that time, leggings were really popular, but you can only get them at like American Apparel. At that time, I started a little over 13 years ago. So women are working on their bodies, whether it was surgery or working out, like women were heavy into getting their bodies right. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I have something to give, but what do I do? What do I come out with that's totally different? I wanted to be, starting with one special thing, which is leggings. And then everything changed from there. I'm kind of like, when you have an ear infection, you could go to a general doctor who does everything, or you can go to a nose, ear, and throat specialist. I wanted to be that nose, ear, and throat specialist for leggings. I wanted to conquer that. And so I just took leggings and dipped them in glitter and gold sparkly sprinkles, you name it, velvet, painting them. I just really just wanted to make that a thing. And then that customers started asking me, like, can you make a matching top? So I started making sets, and then I connected them, made the bodysuit, and then it just went into everything else, dresses, and then now we're here.
Now we're here and everyone is wearing Angel Brinks. I'm telling you, I can watch anything on television. I can watch, let's say an award show, someone walking down the street, and I'm like, is that Angel Brinks?
You just know. And I love that because even when I did create it, they'll contact me like, I just know you did it. Like if I had worked with Mary J. Blige, I remember one time everybody was like, did you make that? And I was like, I am one of the designers that work on her, but I didn't do that. But it's funny that you put that towards me because that's my niche.
Right. So you mentioned Mary J. Blige. You've also dressed Doja Cat. Name some other high profile celebrities that you've dressed.
Missy Elliot,
Mhm.
Little Kim, Saweetie, Megan Thee Stallion, um, Heidi Klum,
Oh,
Mel
wow.
B, even Kim Kardashian got her package. Just you name it, from all of reality TV stars, even
Yeah.
from start to finish, actors. I mean, I've done movie sets. I mean, there's just so many people that I've worked with. I have a long list of them. Anita, which was amazing. I was
Oh,
excited about it.
wow.
Yeah, City Girls.
And
Um,
that's what I was going to say. You know, your aesthetic or your designs, it just runs through generations. So you can have, you know, someone iconic like Mary J. Blige to City Girls, and most recently, Summer Walker. I was
yes,
looking at her performance and I was like,
yes,
wait a minute. I said, that
yes.
looks like Angel Brinks. And then as I was researching for this conversation, I said, see, I knew I was right. You
Yes, you
are
were
really
right.
doing
That was good for me too. Because it was my first time dressing her, which shout out to EJ King. That's her stylist. That's who made it happen. But yeah, I was really excited about that. I'm just pro women,
Yeah.
like I just love women succeed and just go out there and make it happen for themselves. Find your talent and then execute, So I love it. And that's just
I
who I
love it
am.
too. We love it too. So is there a
Thank
celebrity that you dream of dressing?
Jennifer Lopez. That's the one I haven't got yet.
Are you close? Are you
Um,
close?
you
Like, are
know,
you talking to her people?
I haven't yet. That's the crazy part. But I need to. I need to get there. She's just for me. She's an icon. She's a triple threat. Again, a mom,
Yeah.
but also an actress, singer, dancer. She has her own business.
Yeah.
So and she has great legs, a great
Yeah.
body, and she's iconic, like I said. So that's just one person that I haven't had the chance to work with yet that I hope to
Mhm.
soon.
Yeah. So you ran off a list of things that Jennifer Lopez does, but you also wear so many hats. And I know as women, the world is always telling us you can have it all, you can do it all. But having it all and doing it all comes with a heavy price. Do you
Yes.
feel as if you had to sacrifice anything in order to be where you are today?
Absolutely. There's been so many times I've watched my friends, my peers on Instagram, just having a good time on vacation. And I can honestly say I haven't seen too much of the world. I've only been out the
Mhm.
country a few times. But I see everybody else just living their life. And I feel like, I had children early on my life, and of course I work really hard.
Right.
But on the flip side of friends, I have my children as well. There's been times where I couldn't physically make
Mhm.
a game or two.
Mhm.
But like my son, he plays basketball. He's 15 now. I've been in his life since he was born, and I put the ball in his hand at 3 years old. And
Mhm.
I've been to all his practices and games. But there came one point in my life where we were filming twice a day. I have my store I'm running, and I'm pregnant, and I have my
Mhm.
daughter, and I have my man. So sometimes I wasn't able to make certain things, but you do definitely miss a lot of things in life,
Yeah.
and I'm just the type of person that puts other people first, and my
Mhm.
kids come first. But my job is also my baby, right? And in order to take care of my children, my job has to be just as high up there. So, nobody takes care of me but myself.
Mhm.
I take care of my children. So, for me, I work hard and I take care of my kids, and everything else after that, like, it is what it is,
And you just answered my next question, because as successful women, we have so many different moving pieces. And in order to keep being successful, we have to prioritize. So I wanted to know, like, where are your priorities? Like, is it self, kids, relationship, career? How would you order those four facets of your life?
My kids come first. But because I am the sole provider, like, I have to work. And I used to feel bad about it, but I don't, because there's so many women in the world that work.
Yeah.
And where do you take your kids? If it's not school, it's daycare. I mean, we have to provide. We can't be on the street. And I want my kids to have an amazing future. I want I've saved up their college funds. I've worked so hard so that they can have everything they have. My son has his own basketball court outside in the yard that he could just go and play. There's just things that
Saw
I've
that on TV.
Yeah, I've worked so hard for them, but
Mhm.
primarily that's what comes first is, my kids, work, and then everything else kind of just comes after that, but self-care is definitely something I need to do more.
Yeah.
Yeah, because without that, I'm not good for
Nothing
it.
else.
Yeah.
Exactly. So when you decide to take some time and participate in some self-care, what does Angel Brinks do?
Massages. There's this app, we have in LA where they can come to you. Massage for me is extremely relaxing. Taking baths, bubble baths, and just reading a book, maybe having a glass of wine in that few amount of time that I have. And really getting, what is it called? Sleep, but good sleep to where nobody bothers me. But yeah, I mean, I'm a really peaceful person, and I like my
Mhm.
peace. I like things calm.
Yeah,
But that's pretty much what makes me feel refreshed and self
I
care.
get it. I get it because you lead a busy life. And I know for me, the best time is when I am by myself. I
Yeah,
don't have to talk to anyone else.
yeah. No, you
You
don't
know?
understand. Like this world has like the world that I'm in has extreme deadlines. I'll get a call
Mm.
and have to prepare something super exquisite in about 38 hours.
Oh,
you know?
wow.
Yeah, a lot of time in the entertainment business, we're not given like weeks to make something. And it's really surprising too, because some of my customers will call and they'll want to order a birthday dress and their birthday's in like 5 days. I'm like, your birthday's coming up months ago, but it just seems like everything is just so fast paced and you know we're that's one of my biggest issues is deadlines. It's a big
Yeah.
part of my back. You can't just wing it.
I
So
get it. I get it. But speaking of deadlines, we as women, we are always given a deadline as to when we should be married. So I know that you are in a relationship with RoccStar. What are your relationship goals? Are you heading towards marriage?
so as you know, I mentioned I was married before.
Yeah.
um
Uh-huh.
it didn't work out, so I know that it's kind of like crossed off on my bucket list. I've been there, done that. So I'm not at a place where I'm like, okay, I have to get married, you
Okay.
know. But of course, you date to marry. I'm not
Hmm.
just dating him to just date. But I'm also not one to pressure. I'm not in that world. Like I've never been married before. I've been married before. This too. If it comes, it comes. We have a child together, so
Hmm.
it's almost like it's forever to me. Um,
Hmm.
not knocking marriage either, because marriage is a beautiful thing. I'm just
Right.
saying, it's a man's emotion. It's a man's thing to do. And if he feels that I'm the one and that's where we go, then, we'll get married, but no pressure.
But do you want to get married?
I do. And I will. I'm just
Okay.
not I'm not in a place where it has to happen,
Right, right. And I see that narrative changing a lot with women because, back in the day, we were always told, okay, you got to get married. And if, let's say, the marriage didn't work out, then something was wrong. And I really wanted you to talk through,
Mhm.
you being married one time and now you're exploring a new relationship because women are we're redefining ourselves.
Yeah.
And marriage doesn't always mean that you are successful. Like I always tell my daughter, she's just like, why are you single? Because I choose to be. And
Hmm.
if I wanted to get married, I could get married. But right now, this is my choice. So I'm glad that you mentioned that that is your choice. So
To
where,
each his own, honestly. So everybody has their own, it's your life. It's
yeah,
my life, your life, it's her life. It's your life. You do what you want and what's important to you.
yeah,
If that
yeah.
is something that if that means something to you, then head towards that. For me, health is important.
Hmm.
Values, having good values, morals, lifestyle, like my children, like there's you know Rockstar is going to be in my life forever. We have a child
Yeah.
together.
Hmm.
And like I said, if it goes there, then it goes there. But I'm not pressed for it. And if everyone feels that way, then it's that's their life.
Right,
I'm
right.
you know
Who am I to judge? To each his
yeah.
own.
To each his own,
To
exactly.
each his own. So back to your fashion before, we kind of wrap this up. Who is the Angel Brinks customer?
Every fly ass. Okay. No.
Okay.
I mean, I'm gonna confident women, I guess. Everybody, all the women, they're just like, they always write me and they're like, I feel so good in your clothes. Like, I got so many compliments. Thank you for making my dress. And for me, like, I'm not just like, oh, you're welcome. For me, it means something to me because they chose my dress for their special occasion, for their memories. I always go back and look at their birthdays or whatever they were celebrating. And I was there in spirit. For me, it's deeper than that. Like, but honestly, I've dressed women from little to older. So there's really not a specific Angel Brinks customer, although people think there is. But you'd be surprised. I've dressed everybody. I've done shoots for little girls. I've done shoots for women, older women. Everything, you name it. Like, there is no specific Angel Brinks customer. But I will say, all my girls who shop with me are confident and they look good.
They look damn good, and I thought that your demographic was just, let's say, younger, petite, but when I went to your website, I saw some curvy girls too. I said, okay, let me get me an Angel Brinks design.
Yes, so a lot of people don't know is that we make everything from start to finish. So if you say, for example, as women, like, for example, oh, my arms are too big, I always have a problem, or I hate my back, I want to cover my back. You have that option when you order to say no sleeves, please. Or can I'm more busty, but I'm smaller on the bottom, or I'm, top heavy, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, you have the option to custom or create, upon ordering. So, we make all kinds of sizes from. And what's crazy is according to the standard size chart, plus size is 7 and up.
Yeah.
Which is shocking, but that's just what it is. So I like to go kind of around that standard size chart.
Right.
So, for me, sorry.
It's okay.
So, for people, what they don't know is you can actually come to my store, sit on the same couch Little Kim sits on, or Cardi B, or whoever that's coming in, and say, make this for me in this size, or, I like that fabric. Let's make a turtleneck dress in that.
Nice.
To me as your personal designer, and I can create for you what I create for everybody. I'm not just catering to like anybody specifically. I can do for everybody.
So you customize. I love that. And that just makes people feel more confident as they're wearing it because you customize it according to their wishes and their aesthetic. So where can they find Angel Brinks designs?
angelbrinks.com, and all the social media handles are twitter.com/angelbrinks. So everything's Angel Brinks. Facebook, and Angel Brinks Fashions on Instagram if you want to look at just straight company clothes. My Angel Brinks Instagram is very personal too, so it's personal and business. So but Angel Brinks everything.
And you also mentioned that you have a brick and mortar store.
Well, I have a store, yeah, but it's online based, but it's retail. You can actually walk in. You can walk in, yeah.
Got it. And that store is located.
I'm definitely opening up more stores, and Vegas is my first stop.
Really? When do you anticipate that store opening? No pressure though.
This year, and I also want to be in New York. When I look at my analytics, I'm in shock. A lot of it's New York.
You need to come to New York.
I love y'all.
You need to come to New York, most definitely. I know that there would be like people just going in and out, rotating doors.
Where would I go? Where do you go? Where
Midtown. Go Midtown Manhattan. Yeah, around 5th Avenue, 59th, somewhere around Midtown Manhattan, because that's where all of the fabulosity is. Okay. Or Soho.
Okay, Soho. I was thinking Soho. I heard that too. I love
Soho,
you guys.
Yeah, Soho is really real. Yeah, we'll definitely be looking out for you. But can we expect you on the next season of Basketball Wives?
Well, do you want the exclusive?
Yes, I do want the exclusive.
Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I don't know, but I most likely will not be returning to the show.
I'm not surprised. Can you tell me why?
I'm still contracted with them. But it's just, maybe the next interview we could talk about.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you just granted me another interview, so I'm going to hold you to that, Angel. But you know what? Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for sharing the multi layers of Angel Brinks, the CEO, the boss, the mom, the beautiful woman. I appreciate you so much. Continue shining. You are so blessed beyond measure, and we are looking forward to you coming to New York.
Likewise, thank you so much. I appreciate you for even taking the time out to talk to me today.
Thank you, Angel. Take care.
Mwah.
Bye bye, love.
Bye.
So there you have it. Angel Brinks, amazing fashion designer, personality on Basketball Wives. You really just see the layers of a successful woman. She's a mom of 3 children, one of them under 1 year old. And she just bared it all on season 10 of Basketball Wives as she struggled and navigated through postpartum depression. When I tell you, men, you better understand that when you have a child, when you have a baby, it is tough on our bodies. And we just need you to be patient, understanding, and supportive. So to know that Angel Brinks is in a relationship with a celebrity, and you know, sometimes celebrity, they are just so detached, but to know that she has found a partner that she can rely upon after suffering the loss of her husband via suicide. I love to hear a good comeback story about how you just, the Phoenix has rose from the ashes. And then, you know, just a businesswoman as an entrepreneur designing for major celebrities. And although she designs for major celebrities, high-end celebrities, it's good to know that she's still accessible to a certain degree, because you don't want just anybody walking off the street like, give me an Angel Brinks design. You know, to know that the everyday girl who has high self-esteem, who is a fashionista, can go and customize their own Angel Brinks design. It's amazing. I'm telling you, if you don't know anything about Sanya D. Hudson Paint, I live for sequins and embellishment. If I could wear sequins every day, I would. If I could go to bed in sequins, just call Miss Sequins as my nickname, I definitely would. But she gave us an exclusive. Angel Brinks will not be returning to Basketball Wives for season 11. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all, because honestly, Angel is, I wouldn't say she's too professional for the show. And I wouldn't say that she has much more going on than the other women, but you can tell she's just not with the tomfoolery at all. Not at all. She's focused on her kids, her relationship, her career, herself, and anything else. Like, we don't have time for that. We don't have time for that. Mute for the shenanigans and the toxicity. So she was very refreshing to talk to. And I'm telling you, before we started recording this entire conversation, preparing for the show, I was just like, child, what is she gonna wear? I started to put on my sequence, but I was like, no, let me save it for another day. Let me save it for another day, because you know, I just wanted to kind of fit in with the aesthetic, but stay true to who you are. So I said, let me just leave on my door knockers and this little see-through shirt, child. So make sure that you subscribe to Sanya On Air. Sanya On Air streams across every major streaming platform. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure that you hit the notification button so that every time I upload an all new celebrity interview unpacking their pivotal moments and their milestones, you'll be the first ones to know. You can catch Sanya On Air streaming, like I said, on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Podcast, Google Podcast, you name it, Sanya On Air is there. If you share this show, make sure that you tag me, honeys. Tag me on it. Okay? Repurpose the show. Also, you can follow me on social media. You can find me on Instagram as Sanya_on-air and on TikTok as Sanya On Air. So make sure that you follow me, because not only am I posting about these celebrity interviews, I'm also giving podcasters tips on how to successfully podcast. Because let me tell you what I think the direction is going into. Oh, People like Sanya on air, they make it look easy. So you know what? I'm going to pick up a microphone too, and I'm going to launch a podcast. It takes work. So make sure that if you do want to do this, because there's enough seats at the table, dog. There's enough seats at the table. Make sure that you follow me so that you can get into all of these podcasting tips. Also, make sure that you purchase my Sanya on Air merchandise. What else do I have to tell you? Except this has been another amazing edition of Sanya on Air. Thank you so much for tuning in. Smooches, dolls. Take care.